In this video, I'm going to share ideas of how to film your runs using a GoPro, and I'll be specifically focusing on 5 transitions that will take your running videos to the next level. The first transition is the finger swipe transition. This could be a great way to intro your running video. You could start your video by giving somewhat of an establishing shot of the day outside. You could pan over your running gear, and then you could face your camera, swipe your hand down, and then cut to being ready for your run. You could also use this transition to move from one location to a second location. There are 2 ways to do this transition. The first is by balancing your GoPro on a tripod or on something stable. The secret is in your GoPro remaining in the same spot. So once you have your GoPro stable, do a few takes of stepping into the frame and swiping your hand down. It helps to do a few takes as your hand needs to fully cover your face, and then you go through your footage and pick the best clip in the edit. Now from here, you put on all of your gear and then you try to get back into the same spot that you were originally in, and then you swipe your hand down again a few more times. And then cut the first clip where it fully covers your face, and then add your new clip at the same point where your face is covered. The second way to do this is to hold your arm out as a tripod. Now try remember the angle at which you hold your GoPro, because you'll need to replicate this a little bit later. But once you've got your angle sorted, you can do a few takes of your hand coming down over the screen again. And then when you get to your next location, you can repeat the process and then find the best 2 clips when you're editing. The next transition worth noting is a whip pan, where you spin your GoPro from your face. Let's say you're taking in the view, and then you look at your camera, and then you spin your GoPro down when you're stationary. But then you cut to a part of your run that shows your feet hitting the ground. So here you move from stationary to movement. Now you do this by taking a few takes of you whipping your GoPro down when you're standing still, or when you haven't started running yet, and then you do the same movement while you're running. And then you cut your clips at the blur to move from your first shot to the second shot of your running. And the next transition is another version of the whip pan, and this is where you whip your camera from first looking at you to whipping the camera forward so that you can see the view ahead, or a different type of view. And if you're wondering where to cut the clip, well, you're looking for the point at which the blur begins when you move from your first subject to your next subject. And something that I really like to do with this transition is when I move to the second subject in the edit, like to almost zoom in. It kind of gives it this different feeling. It's quite cool, especially if you can time it nicely to some music. The next transition is a classic jump transition. Here you need to capture 2 different jumps. If you have a route that goes from one terrain to another, this could be a really fun way to showcase that. So you need to film your jumps, making sure you see your feet in both shots. I always find it's easier to jump with 2 feet, but that's obviously difficult to do when you're running. Just try to remember which leg you sort of jumped off from, because you'll need to do the same in the next shot. So you would need to film your jumps, making sure that you see your feet in both shots, and then you cut the clip in the middle of the jump. And one more note on the jump transition: when you are filming you jumping from your one location to the next, try and ensure that you capture the audio, that thump of when you land, or at least have a sound effect ready, because that audio helps guide your audience in the illusion of transporting them from the first part of the jump to the next part of the jump, to making the transition more effective and seamless. And the final transition is a match cut. You can use this to show the end of your run. You can hold your GoPro at an arm's length and then turn it for some movement and bring it to your hair or your hat. You can then get to the end of your run, this time starting the movement from your hair or your hat and then bringing your GoPro down to show you at the end of your run. And you cut the clips at the moment where it first goes to your head and when it starts from your head for the last shot. But here's the kicker: I can get 2 completely different feelings by simply changing the audio. So let's add some music and see an option of a short sequence of using these transitions in action. And with a change in music, see how different the tone of the video feels in this example. So these transitions are sure to make your videos more exciting, and if you're wanting to share your videos to YouTube, then watch this video next.